Pool 4 being an interesting one as well. Racing, Ulster.
Yep.
Had their game last week. It was class. It was my favourite game last week. This week was again about don't screw up for both of them, more so than being pool deciders, because they were both against teams that were out. And they both looked dodgy at times.
we said last week that Scarlets going to the U Arena could throw up a few problems for Racing.
And it was definitely did.
It was they made it into a ding dong battle, which is what they can do. Racing can be soft defensively. We've seen that in the top tours this year.
Yeah.
And Scarlets, like, out wide,
they're
still those same boys.
Dangerous,
It's the same guys from last year. With the absence of Patchell, obviously sucks, but it's you know.
They rested Ken Owens for this game as well after making him play 2 weeks.
But it was Hadley Parks and Jay Davis and Johnny McNichol and Steph Evans. Proper ballers, and you give them a bit of space and you give them some soft shoulders to run at, and they will score tries, and they did. And it was eventually in the second half they kind of got their heads in gear and did kind of manage them a bit more. It felt like Racing, but before then they leaked a load of tries. I mean, like, it's much
still
stronger
a danger.
pack, Racing. Yeah, to be clear. Yeah,
exactly. It's like the opposite problems that we were to the ones we were highlighting with Munster, and their game plan exists at Scarlets, whereby yes, they can still score against anyone from anywhere given those opportunities, but they tend to be just a little bit weaker, and in those last 20 minutes particularly, games can get away from them.
The big trio that were basically their MVPs last year, Tyke Byrne, James Davis, John Barclay, all gone. 2 from injury, 1 from Munster.
And now he's playing class for Munster. So like they're shorn of some of those leaders, and it seems like a year in transition where they're still trying to figure out how to plug those holes. Still playing the same Scarlets kind of brand of rugby. They're a club that their roots go deeper than the players in the jerseys, but the jerseys have their own little stories. And Scarlets rugby is a great thing, and they put it up to a Racing side that wanted to play that way under the roof and scored some brilliant tries. I was unfortunately watching the other game out of patriotic loyalty to Ulster, and that was not the right call,
as it turns out,
as I could have guessed even as well. But yes, the game in Welford Road that they lost in the first half, they weren't even at the races, and then Leicester's ability to lose games kind of came back, and Ulster showed some nous and some control in the second half. Cooney played well when he came on, up the tempo properly, organised some good attacking sets that resulted in tries. Billy Burns showing a nice little toe poke through, good little bit of vision. But what I loved most about it was just it's an indication of the evolution of this team in a short space of time. They're all like right now they're definitely on high. You know, they're I don't know what the rush is, but they're just feeling very, very confident. Like when the things started to go their way in that second half, they kicked on.
I was never in doubt that they were going to win the game. They looked it, and when they got a point up, they kept playing that game. I mean, I thought a great indicator, a picture of the game, was that little Stockdale moment when he was jinking from side to side and the boy who was on the floor and danced over him.
That was Johnny May.
Johnny May.
He was making an absolute mug of.
Made a mug of Johnny May just a couple of weeks before the Six Nations game, which is good. The two boys have been lining up against each other again. And he danced to the side, gave that little dink, and ended up winning the line out. And just no matter what he does, it just comes off for him now. And it was massive for Ulster. From 1 to 15, 1 to 23, they really looked like they believed they were going to win, even from that negative situation where there was some poor play.
And that conversely was exactly the opposite case for Leicester, whereby even when they were 13-0 up and looking dominant, you felt there was going to be a time when shit hits the fan and a try goes in or something, and how are they going to react? And the answer was poorly. Very poorly, with lots of errors and lots of silly penalties too. Like they released the pressure valve so quickly over there with the stupid penalty that needed to be given away, and it was just they completely crumpled. Their pack stood up. Their pack actually kind of bullied a bit of that Ulster pack for big periods of that game.
Ulster have their issues up front and in defence would be the main ones. They're just a little brittle defensively, especially in the centre, and up front they're not quite there, but they strike, they score tries, they keep their heads up. Their defence is very turnover based. Losing Marcel Coetzee didn't help, but they
he had to limp off. Their back row actually ended up being shorn of because Reedy went off in the second half then as well, so it was that was not
so good. It was very hodgepodge, but with ball in hand they're looking for tries. They're never conversely to the old Ulster teams, they never put their heads down. They keep working. They've won 5 out of 6 games. They thoroughly belong in Europe's top 8. They're a very tidy side. I like a lot of very tidy sides, they're probably going to go to Dublin and get a hiding, and that's just what happens with this Leinster team seemingly.
It's hard to look past that, like, and that's not even brash kind of thinking.
It's not a good matchup for them.
It's really not. No. Physically, like, I'm sure even the most recent time they did it, they got absolutely hosed. Granted, they weren't really at the races that they'll definitely bring more on quarter-final day than that. But I still suspect they'll be kept at arm's length by a very physical, very organised Leinster team that'll probably just keep the ball on them
and know the way to beat them.
But that was where we were coming into the question a few weeks ago of should they have gone for that bonus point try against Racing, knowing that they'd be away, and were they backing themselves to go away, or were they thinking we have to try? And as it turns out, they would have been wrong, because Racing still got the job done. And it wouldn't have been consequential.
But would the extra points have prevented them from having the toughest draw?
I don't know.
Probably
Probably could do the maths on that, but maybe so. And that's the question mark, because now having to go to Leinster, ask anyone about it, is just the least pleasant thing.
Actually, now that
I don't think
we were the bottom ranked team in terms of that is playing a runner up.
Yeah.
So the top runner-up was always going to get us.
Yeah, as it turns out, was Ulster.
Unless they'd stopped Racing from getting that extra point, hence we overtake Racing. That could have happened. It's all maths-based
conjecture, and it is a bit of a digression. Yes, but they now have to go to Leinster, where they will probably fall short, but we never know.
And great year for them either way so far.
100%. Compared to the years gone by, there's just been so much improvement, so much to be excited about. Like we were highlighting last week, all of their acquisitions over the pre-season have worked, have slotted in and actually plugged holes and strengthened the side. And there's still that
looks like a smart guy.
He looks like a very savvy operator, and they're trying to play an Ulster, like a recognisable Ulster brand of rugby, using some of their key talisman heads as well as some of their imports. It's exciting times, and they were thoroughly good value for that win over Racing. Racing themselves have a job to do against Toulouse. They won't be that they're probably slight favourites based on purely home advantage, but lots to come in the Six Nations and in the top tours between now and then. I'm fancying Toulouse. Of all the fixtures, if there's to be an away winner, and that's the one. So it's danger.
It's certainly what Racing are doing right now is it's great to watch. But it's very it's Finn and Zebo show a lot of the time, and Nakarawa and Vakatawa. It's very it's all guns blazing, offloading.
Shaughnessy had a nice little chip.
He did. He's embracing the chaos like the rest of them. And there's good heads up rugby. They're finding tries constantly. They're throwing offloads. They're keeping the tempo high. It's very different from what last year's Racing were doing.
For sure.
It's all of a sudden Finn just has a way about him. It just becomes about Finn. It doesn't seem to matter if he played a 10 for the All Blacks. You feel like the All Blacks have become the Finn show.
Perhaps he's still flicking those passes anyway.
He just does his own thing, which is great. But I feel like, and I'm not usually good to say this because I like teams that score tries, but they need to fix a couple of things. In defence, they need to tighten up. They need to, perhaps it's an arbitrary thing, but they need to sort of just change the mentality of the team a little bit from being all about Finn and Zebo and the boys, and like a little more about Mashno and Donegal Ryan, who's hopefully going to come back into the team. Another way of phrasing that
is they need to shift into cup final mode, because that's where we're at in the rest
of
the
context.
I
don't like that phrase some of the times. I just think those are holes that they need to fix because they're leaking a lot of tries. And I think the tries that they are scoring right now, while fun, against proper teams
in the knockout stages.
So they need to just be a little smarter about what they're doing. They have the big men to win the physical battles first, to suck people in, to get down and dirty and win that battle.
Not quite rolling their sleeves up and doing that.
No, not right now. And certainly, like, line speed wise in defence, they're not shutting teams out in any kind of real proper way.
Properly, And when you have two classy operators in the centre like they do, you think there's more scope for that. And they did that.
I don't think Vakatau's a centre though, is he?
He's an offload machine, man.
He is.
That's what he is.
Defensively
though. Well, like Shaughnessy can lead a line, and like he did a job on shutting us out in the final. Like Leinster's all-conquering offense last year was disarmed by a very heads-up Shaughnessy who was reading through the play, having done a lot of homework. Reading through, spotting the screens and getting behind them, so like that the personnel are there to do it. You're probably right in just saying it will require a shift in focus and a slight tailoring of what they're doing to be that kind of more aggressive, more attritional side.
Donegal Ryan to be massive.
That's the other. I was going to lead into that. Like they have been missing him, and missing him is exactly like you were highlighting. Berlin Leroux in his jersey.
Yeah.
It's not the same entity at all. He brings them that kind of hard-edged Munster toughness, which is a very useful weapon for a team that's not Munster if you're going to have that embodied in a player like that.
Yeah.
And he gets through a shift every time. So they're still thoroughly dangerous, and they still have home advantage, and it's very possible that they could blitz, could destroy the dream that Toulouse seem to be living at the moment, where they're back in the mix. And
they got their two sort of Kiwi coaches in there who are very much like all about the offloading game and all about the high pace. I just wonder if they will do basically what Toulouse did against Leinster and take the time out to focus on Toulouse and to focus on what they do, and to give guys like Chavancy the sort of fire up their arse to go out and make the play and be aggressive defensively and sort of make the team think about defense a lot more.
Sure,
because you look at a lot of those boys and Finn, like in particular Finn and Zebo and even Vakatawa and Nakarawa, you definitely like. Their priority, what they really love doing is having the ball and attacking and doing great things.
Zebo did make a great defensive play shutting out Hadley Parks, who was in at the corner, and he had been narrow and he got him, bundled him into touch. So it's like he's put on a little bit of weight so he can throw it around a bit out there.
Yeah.
And they are reading those kinds of things and responding with urgency, but probably a bit more proactive.
Shutting stuff down at the line is more valuable as a team scramble.
Yeah, true.
Thanks for watching the Overlap Rugby podcast. If you want to subscribe, there should be a button up here. Don't forget to give us a like and share with your friends. And please leave comments down below. We love the conversation. Thanks.